Hello, and welcome to a little video about Target 7D, where we're going to talk about reflectional and rotational symmetry. The first thing that we're going to look at is the line of symmetry. Now, the line of symmetry is a line that takes an image and splits it into two perfect mirror image halves. So, let's begin with number one. For this heart shape, I can only think of one way to split it in perfect halves. For letter B, unfortunately, those tiny hearts that are floating around the face make this impossible to have any lines of symmetry. For letter C, let's see how many lines we could do. All right, we got one down the middle, one through the middle sideways, and then two more diagonals. All right, so 4. For letter D, I can think of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6 ways of splitting this star into symmetric pieces. And lastly, for letter E, I can only think of one line to draw down the middle to split this into symmetric pieces. All right. In number 2, what we're going to do is we're going to complete some transformations. So we're going to actually do 2 transformations at once. So it's going to be a teensy bit messy, but that's fine. Tis what it is. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is reflect this image across the line BD. Now the line BD is right here. So to reflect right across that line, we're going to create a mirror image rectangle. This becomes B prime, A prime, C prime, D prime. The next transformation that we're going to do is to rotate it negative 270 degrees about C prime. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is split this. C prime is going to be our middle. Pretend, okay, let's try it one more time. I think I can do that line across a little better. There we go. Okay, so there is our 4 quadrants. Negative 270 means we're going to be going clockwise, and we're going to do 4 quadrants. 3 quadrants. What? 4 quadrants, that's crazy. All right, so we're going to turn it 90, 180, 270, so it should end up in here. All right, let's check out. Let's do this in pink. Our rectangle is going to end up like this. So imagine it falling to the side on the 90-degree turn, perfectly vertical again in the 180, and then it goes sideways again. So now we have A double prime here. No, what am I doing? That's crazy. C double prime is there. So A double prime is actually right here. B is here, and D is there, and C stays in its place. Okay, number 2B. First, we're going to rotate negative 90, and then we're going to translate it to the right. Negative 90 about point A means I'm going to draw the grid on point A. Negative means clockwise. We're only going to rotate once clockwise. All right. So my rectangle ends up here. A prime, B prime, C, D prime, C prime. All right. Next, we're going to translate it to the right. Doesn't tell us how much to translate to the right, so let's do that as far as we want. Okay, so here's our new rectangle. Ta-da! Beautiful. So since it didn't say how much to the right, I moved it as far right as I felt like to make it less messy. All right, letter C asks us to first translate to the right. Let's do that. So A, B, C, and D. And then we're going to rotate 90 degrees about D prime. Okay, so D prime goes in the middle here. Negative 90 means we're going clockwise. Let's draw our picture. So we will end up with a rectangle right there where we have D double prime here, C double, A double, B double. Last double rotation, let's do this. First, we're going to rotate 90 degrees about point B. So let's make point B the middle piece. Wonderful. Oops, my bad. Positive 90 means we're going counterclockwise. So we end up with a rectangle right here. B prime, A prime, D prime, C prime. The second reflection, or the second transformation, is going to be a reflection across A prime, B prime. So our image ends up right here. B double, A double, D double, C double. So a bit messy, but two transformations at once. For the next three problems, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at them and then tell what the transformations are. So the opposite of what we just did. Okay. So in this one, this is what I see. First, I see that we moved cat to the right. Then it looks like we moved it down. And then it seems like we did a reflection. We could have also first done a reflection, then moved it to the right and then down. Or we could have moved it down, right, and then made a reflection. All of those would be valid answers. Next, we have this one. Okay, so this is what I see. First thing that we can kind of imagine, if there was a point P here and we rotated it. We can also imagine moving it, let's say, to the right and then rotating it. So let's write translation to the right and then a rotation. It could also, you know what I also see? It could also be a reflection about, oh no, it's not a reflection about point P. Never mind. As I drew that, I saw that that was not the right thing. Never mind. If you think of something that I don't have, that's pretty great. Just make sure it works. So on the test, I'll go with whatever you have. I'll check it out. If it's not something I have on my answer key, I'll still try it. And if it works, good for you, it works. Number 5, our last one for this unit. The sequence I see here, the first one I see is translation to the right, and then it kind of looks like it's a rotation. You could have also looked at it as a rotation and then a translation. You can also think of it as a rotation around a point, but I don't think there were any reflections in this one. Okay, that's about it for KC 7, specifically for target D. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask myself or your teachers. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of whatever day it is for you. Bye!